Hello and welcome! Today I will show you how to pattern a dress using a simple t-shirt.
For this, you will need a pair of scissors, elastic band, fabric of your choice, preferably jersey, a t-shirt that you really like, a sewing machine, or your hands, chalk or a pencil, pins, a ruler, and that 3 sheets, commonly known as paper, for tracing. Take your lovely t-shirt and fold it in half, aligning all of the seams to make sure that it's really folded in half. Place it on top of a piece of paper. Here I am using flip chart paper because it's cheap and already has a grid, so I don't have to calculate anything. Remember to keep your rulers handy, and if you feel fancy, also curves that will help you to make curves. Haha. In case your paper doesn't have any grids, you have to make a straight line so you can align your center front to that. Then you have to proceed to mark the most important points of your t-shirt. They are the front neckline, the back neckline, the inner part of the shoulder, the outer part of the shoulder, the end of the shirt or the length, the armpit, the end of the sleeve, the width of the hip part, and then after that just trace the contour of your t-shirt carefully, not to paint over your beautiful t-shirt because you don't want to destroy it, you just want to duplicate it. Your t-shirt is now released from its duties. You can remove it and set it aside, and now with the ruler you will fix some lines. Reinforce the center front, square half an inch from the front neckline and the back neckline so you don't have any weird points when you cut it, and then reinforce that curve either by hand or using your beautiful curved ruler. Then reinforce the shoulder line and the sleeve, as well as reinforcing the side seam. Here you will find a fork stuck in the road. It's time for decisions. Very difficult decisions. You have 2 options. You either go straight ahead with this line until the length that you want, opening a little bit so you have a little bit of flow on your dress. Then you will have only one piece, easier to sew, but it will give you another look. Bear in mind that if you create a bigger A-line, you will need to take off a little bit from the hem in a curve in order to avoid points on the side seam, because you will be going on bias, and biased fabric behaves very oddly, and that is a thing that we need to avoid. So the bigger the A-line, the more you remove from the bottom. I suggest up to 3 centimeters. Don't go crazy there, otherwise you will have a side that's shorter than the front, and that's also not good. The second possibility is you will do like me. You will find your waistline on that t-shirt, you will mark it, you will cut it, and you will attach a skirt to that. I prefer this. I am very into cinched waistlines. I don't like baggy clothes, and I like to show the only part of my body that's smaller than the rest of my body. So after finding your waistline and squaring that from the center front, I decided to tweak a little bit the sleeve. I wanted to keep things simple. Even if my t-shirt had a sleeve separated from the rest of the bodice, I only need to add a curve to the armpit, and that will make things very easy. This will create a built-in sleeve in your garment. For no specific reason, I made the sleeve a little bit longer. I would not suggest doing that with fabrics that aren't stretchy. This is a very easy hack if you don't feel like making a pattern only for a sleeve. After that, just make your basic markings so that you know what you have to cut in the fold, what is your front, what is your back, and what is your fabric orientation, and then add your seam allowance to the pattern and cut it out. And that is done, ready to be used for the very first time. I am cutting this dress in a very nice jersey of my own making with gumballs and french fries, because back then I thought that this would be a great idea. I just remember I was in Denmark for a training in project management, and I was very hungry. And this is what came out of it. Cut the front and the back in the fold, pin those sides together, right sides facing, and sew them on your normal machine or on your serger if you have one. For the skirt, you will need only 1 panel of fabric, measuring the width of the fabric itself by the length that you need, if you think that this is enough flare. Otherwise, I would suggest that you cut 2 pieces, measuring together twice the size of your waistline by the length that you want. Sew them also right sides facing. Now that you have your top part ready, you have to find your center front and center back and mark notches on those. Pinch the side seams together and just cut a little bit of fabric away so you have those points marked forever. Don't cut too much though. You will repeat the same process on the skirt. Because your skirt is way bigger than the top part, you will have to make it smaller. So run on your machine or by hand the longest straight stitch possible on the machine on the top edge of your skirt, so you can pull that together and make your skirt smaller by making ruffles. This can also be done by hand. If you want to learn that, please take a look at this video up top. Once your skirt has shrinked considerably, you have to align all of the notches together from the bottom and the top, side seams, front and center back, the ones that you cut away a few seconds ago, remember? And then you will distribute the ruffles proportionately per section, then sew both pieces together on the serger, right sides facing. Now to install the elastic band that will measure the same as your waistline, sew both ends together, mark the side seams, the front and center back, but using pins, don't cut it. Find those points again in the garment that you just sewn together and align those notches all over again. Yes, aligning notches can be very annoying, but it matters. It is important. Otherwise, you may end up with a lopsided dress that looks just ridiculous. You will see that your elastic is smaller now than that waistline you just created. So when you sew it, you have to stretch the elastic to match the waistline, being very careful not to rip anything. It can be challenging, but not very complicated. Believe in yourself. You can do it. I believe in you. Now we are moving to the final details. You need to finish that neckline by adding a strip of fabric to it. You will measure on your pattern the front and the back neckline. Multiply that value by 2 and remove 3 inches from that final value. Here I chose a very narrow strip of fabric, but if you want to, you can make it a little bit wider. I sewed the ends together, right sides facing, and I pressed it in half, wrong sides facing. Here too you have to mark the notches for the shoulder seams, the front and the center back on both your neckline and your neck detail thingy. I'm adding that seam to the shoulder seam to make a beautiful finish, pin everything down and go to the machine to sew it. I suggest you add here a top stitch on top of that to make it stay in place. After everything is done, you just hem it and finish the sleeve and your dress is ready to go. And this is the final result, a dress that you can sew in a matter of minutes. I am not kidding, minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, you can have this look ready to go. So if you are in a time crush, this is the tutorial for you. Very easy to trace a t-shirt and make a few tweaks here and there and finish it. The only annoying part that will take a little bit more time is the finishing on the neckline. Other than that, it's really quick and easy, painless, believe me. Of course, you can style this as you wish. I prefer to be styling as if I were just attacked by a unicorn in a dark alley. Yes, I love color, and sometimes I look ridiculous. I am very aware of that, but I don't mind, and neither should you. Do what you love and be free. Ha ha ha. Okay, this is getting way too deep. If you ever try this tutorial out, let me know. Tag me on Twitter or Instagram. I would love to see your projects. I'm a very curious person.
I hope you liked this video. If you like sewing shenanigans and crazy fashion projects, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week.